Hi everyone! We have an important writing workshop lesson today because this happens to me a lot. I wonder if this has ever happened to you. Today we're talking about when after you write a story, you can reread your story. And if you feel like you forgot to add something, you can add a page at some point. Okay, add a page if you need to add some more information. Or you can take out a page if you've wrote something that maybe doesn't quite go with your story, or it's not an important part of the story that needs to be there. So here you can add a page. It says, oops, I forgot something important. Let me add that in. And over here, see the subtract, take away a page. What? I don't need that part. Let me take it out. And I have an example to show you. So I'm telling you a story about when I was a kid, and some of you will know this story. You'll recognize this story, and it's about me and how much I loved Halloween when I was a kid. So let me show you my story. So far, here's my story. Let me bring you a little closer so you can see. When I was in 8th grade, I loved Halloween. Let me get it in order. I was the only one wearing a costume. My sister dressed up as a witch. I felt embarrassed. Wait a minute. My story is not really making sense. The story that I want to tell you is about when I was in 8th grade. I loved Halloween so much that I dressed up as a clown. And I wore a clown costume to school. And I was the only one that came to school wearing a costume. It was just me. And that I felt embarrassed. So the first thing I'm thinking, is that I forgot to add some important information. Like I wanted to write about how I dressed up as a clown and wore that costume to school, but I totally forgot to put that page in my story. So I'm going to add a page. So let me start working on that now. I dressed up as a clown and wore my costume to school. Okay, now if I add that page in, I think that'll help it make more sense, right? So I'm going to add that page. So I'll stick that right in. When I didn't do the picture yet, but that's okay. When I was in 8th grade, I loved Halloween. I dressed up as a clown and wore my costume to school. I was the only one wearing a costume. Oh, wait a minute. Do I need this page about my sister being a witch that year? No, that's extra. I'll just stick that aside. I was the only one wearing a costume. I felt embarrassed. Okay, so I took out a page, added a page. Let's see if my story makes sense now. Okay, let me share it with you. When I was in 8th grade, I loved Halloween. I dressed up as a clown and wore my costume to school. I was the only one wearing a costume. That's true, this happened. I felt embarrassed. Okay, now my story makes more sense. I added in the important part of dressing up as a clown and wearing the costume to school, and I took out the part about my sister being a witch because that didn't need to be in this story. It just made it a little bit confusing. Okay, so when you're writing and you reread your story at the end, if you notice there's anything important that you left out, you can add in a page. If there's something in your story that you're like, wait a minute, I don't really need that part, you can take that page out. Okay? So this was a true story, and I'm going to show you something. I'm going to show you, I have a picture of the year when I was that clown. Can you see that picture? Look, there I am. That's me dressed up as the clown, and there's my sister as a witch and her friend dressed as an angel. This was after school, and we were going to go trick-or-treating, but that's me as a clown in 8th grade. That's the costume I wore to school. Okay, so remember this. Add a page if you need to. Take out a page if you need to. And if you love Halloween, always wear a costume. Don't be embarrassed. It's fun to wear costumes and dress up. I love Halloween. I still do. Okay, so go ahead and do some writing. Happy writing, everyone.